ADRA responds to global crises, bringing relief to famine in Zambia and aid to volcano victims in Indonesia. Canadian volunteers help construct a sanatorium in the Peruvian jungle. An Adventist World Radio 360 health campaign transforms 10,000 lives in Papua New Guinea. Adventist leaders in transcontinental mission strengthen ties and vision in the Bahamas. ANN starts now with these and other stories from around the world. Stay with us. A humanitarian campaign by Adventist World Radio 360 Health, conducted in Mount Hagen, Papua New Guinea, transformed over 10,000 lives. With the support of more than 175 international volunteers and 400 local ambassadors, a mega health clinic provided cataract surgeries and essential health services. The effort brought medical relief to a region in need, promoting physical and spiritual healing and impacting lives for eternity.
Jesus said, "Whatsoever you have done to the least of these, my brethren, you have done it unto me." And Adventist World Radio 360 Health embrace this Bible text. And so we are here at Papua New Guinea, specifically at Mount Hagen, and look at this event wonderfully happening right now.
We are so excited about the mega health program, and we are so thankful to be able to be coming here to get the free medicine and free help from the world's doctors who are able to give their time for free. And we are so delighted to have them here.
So in a lot of poor countries, access to medical facilities is hard and it's expensive or it's very distant. And if you're a poor farmer, can you take days off to go somewhere, spend a month's salary? So especially for dentistry, where people are having pain or discomfort, in oral surgery, we can get them out of pain in just 5 minutes, something that may have been bothering them for many, many months. And in just a few minutes, their lives are transformed. So that gives me great pleasure, and to see the smiles and to feel that you've made such a big difference.
Right now, we are in the operating theater of our AWR 360 Health Mega Clinic for PNG, and you can see the patients being brought to our ophthalmologist, Dr. Jacob Prabhakar, who is an incredible guy, and his team of 8 who have been here, by the way, since 5 o'clock this morning, operating on patients. And you know, he's got that down to a real science here. They do these cataract surgeries in about 2 to 3 minutes. When someone gets a cataract in one or both eyes, it really impairs their ability to have quality of life. They can't do the basic things that you and I take for granted. And so, by this simple surgery, which literally, as you can see, takes 2 minutes, and we're able to see so many. Every single person that's laying down on this operating table and being seen by Dr. Jacob, their life is being changed in an instant. And we want them to leave changed, not only by receiving physical healing, but the spiritual healing that lasts not just for this lifetime, but for eternity.
It is so humbling to be a volunteer in a place like this. We take our health for granted, and it's just been absolutely amazing to be able to give back to this community and to be able to give the health that they haven't been able to have. And I'm just so humbled at how grateful they are and how we have been received here. It has been incredible and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We are so excited to be the entering wedge of the gospel, to bring the 3 angels' messages and hope for eternity to these precious people in Papua New Guinea.
In Zambia, a severe hunger crisis has devastated numerous families, destroying crops and livestock. This has become a national disaster. ADRA is responding with immediate aid and sustainable solutions to those affected.
This is what we eat. We cook it from morning up to afternoon. You have to wait for it to be cold. If you eat it while it's hot, it becomes poisonous. You have to put it in water until it's cold. This is Catherine Hasurwe from Hauma village in Gwembe district. She is explaining the roots they eat because of the hunger situation that has affected her village due to droughts. Gwembe is among the districts affected by drought in the 2023-2024 farming season, and most of the farmers in the district have lost their crops. The drought has been attributed to climate change.
We did not harvest anything. Even our livestock is finished. Marriages have broken down. We even sleep without food.
The Adventist Development and Relief Agency, ADRA, has been responding to the hunger situation in Gwembe district since the declaration of the hunger situation as a national disaster.
We are currently responding to 430 families who are given the food packs, and the food packs consist of the 25 kg mealie meal, 5 kg beans, 1.5 cooking oil, and 1 kg salt. This food pack is through the support with Norwegian Church Aid, and these families have been provided with these food rations for the past 3 months. We have another donor that we've been working with in Gwembe, where we are now targeting 500 households starting May, and the package remains the same. These will be given for the next 3 months. ADRA is not only looking at the immediate need, but we are also looking at the sustainability part of things. By this, we are looking at support with small irrigation systems, where households are grouped and they are given a small irrigations with the input support. And the reasoning behind that is they are trained there, do the production, and they can also go at their individual households and do the same type of gardens, which will help them have some source of income that they are going to use to supply food items to these families. ADRA Zambia has continued soliciting, looking for funds to support the hunger situation. We are writing network proposals as the ADRA network internationalized, and also working with the Seventh-day Adventist Church to mobilize the resources to continue fighting the hunger. And we are not only working in Gwembe, we are also working in Chifunaboli, Mansa, and also Sioma. These districts that I've just mentioned, we did food distribution within just the past 1 month.
Gwembe District Commissioner Kilian Jigandula explains measures put in place by the government in the district to fight the effects of drought.
We are happy that as a district, at least we received community sales, that is maize for sale. In fact, this time, the number of depots has increased from 4 from the number that we started with. Now, apart from that one, we have this national sales meal. That meal is there, people are buying, traders are buying, so that in some places, the price is hiked a bit. So anyway, we are busy controlling, because like today, the court will be there just to guide us on how to dispose of the meal that was confiscated.
Mwangala Mzumara for Adventist News Network, Gwembe, Southern Province.
The Ruang volcano in northern Sulawesi, East Indonesia, erupted 3 times in the last month of April, triggering a series of devastating events that affected thousands, including members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church who are receiving assistance from ADRA.
The island of Tagulandang, near the volcano, suffered severe damage, with 2 Seventh-day Adventist churches severely affected and 35 houses destroyed, impacting over 700 church members. Thousands of residents were forced to seek refuge in nearby urban areas. Volcanic ash and rocks presented serious health risks and disrupted daily life. Local authorities confirmed the highest level of alert due to toxic emissions and ash dispersion. ADRA Indonesia responded promptly, conducting a rapid assessment and providing assistance, including food, water, and medical supplies, to those affected. Relief efforts are ongoing, highlighting ADRA's ongoing commitment to humanitarian aid in times of crisis.
In this week's episode of ANN In Depth, host Sam Neves discusses with Dr. Peter Landless, Director of Adventist Health Ministries, the importance of health for the Adventist Church and its role as part of the mission in preaching the gospel.
You are a pastor, but you're also a cardiologist. Is that correct?
Well, I was firstly a physician and then was ordained to the gospel ministry. I am a cardiologist. I've had a very blessed career in family medicine, internal medicine, cardiology, nuclear cardiology, and now in administration of the health work of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Right back to our deepest heritage, our oldest heritage, which is the Bible. Throughout the Bible, there is a strong emphasis on health. when God created man and woman, placed them in the garden, He gave them a beautiful environment. He gave them wonderful foods to choose from. He also gave them work to do. They tended the garden. They named the animals. They got their exercise. And they were given relationship with each other. So the physical was cared for, the relational was cared for. And then we are told in Genesis that God came down in the cool of the evening to speak with them. Spiritual, physical, mental, relational. Those are key aspects of this holistic well-being, which is represented in God's Word from Genesis through Revelation.
For the full episode and other videos delving deeper into the Seventh-day Adventist faith and its story, visit our official channel on YouTube. A team of 28 students and 3 teachers from Fountain View Academy in Canada arrived in Pucallpa, Peru, on a missionary trip to support Peru projects. Their mission includes constructing a sanatorium and engaging in various social activities to spread the message of Christ and demonstrate love for one's neighbor.
Hello, I am Appeal, and I am part of FAMG Academy. We have a group of 31 students in here at Proof Project. We are here on a mission trip. We hope that through us, people can come to the feet of Christ.
And just this past week, my class has been here, and we've been able to come here to Proof Project on a mission trip. So every morning before we'd start working out in the bakery or in the construction project, we would have a short worship thought where we'd all come together and sing some songs in English and some in Spanish. And I really enjoyed it. It was really interesting to hear different testimonies from the people here and get to learn a little bit more about the mission and their experiences that they've had here.
Hello, my name is Eliana, and I have been helping here in various areas, but most of the time I was helping in the bakery. We made granola, we made bread, and then we went through the whole process of what it is to make bread. And it reminds me a lot of how God is shaping us, how we do with bread. And I invite you to come and support Peru projects here, because it is an unforgettable experience.
Hi, my name is Laura, and one of the things that I enjoy the most for a mission trip was doing vacation Bible school. It was such a blessing to, after a really long day of work, just go to the church and see all those kids and play with them and tell them stories, Bible stories, and also do some crafts with them and just have like this moment with them. And it was so good, and it was so like fulfilling and such a blessing for me and for all my classmates too.
And throughout the week, while the seniors were here, every afternoon they would go and put on a VBS for the local kids at one of our churches. But Friday afternoon, they did something a little different. They performed a health fair for the kids, where they taught them how a healthy body and a healthy mind were the best way to serve the Lord throughout their life.
We had the opportunity to do a concert at the Central Church of Pucallpa. So we got there, we were doing our warm-up, and about 150 people showed up to our concert. We performed 13 songs, and it seems like they really enjoyed it.
This last weekend, down at Peru Projects, we had the opportunity to go to a small village where we took some bread that the bakery here had made, and we also took some Bibles, and we went to the church first. After we rode on some boats there, we split up with the church members. Those of us who spoke English went with someone who spoke Spanish, and we went to the community, and we took the bread and the Bibles, and we gave them to the people. And we read a verse with them about Jesus being the bread of life. And we would pray with them about the problems that they would have, or if they were sick, we would offer some prayer for them. And they really seemed to enjoy that. And one thing that really stood out to me was that the people obviously didn't have a whole lot, but they would still bring us into their homes and offer some shade from the sun because it was really hot. And Even though I don't speak Spanish, I could definitely tell that they made the connection between us giving them the bread and Jesus being the bread of life.
We came down here to this little construction project here in Peru. We came down to put this floor in on this clinic, but there was a few problems coming here. You know, we had there was a bit of flooding that's going on here, so we had to walk through a flooded path or a river every morning and afternoon to come back. It's kind of crazy, you know, there's snakes, eels, all kinds of things in there, they tell us, but you know, nobody died. So we had to clean a whole bunch of stuff out of there. We had to put some woods in for some stakes in for the reference for the floor. We had to put some stucco on some pillars. We had to bring dirt in to level it all up nice so that we can have our, 4 inches of concrete along the whole thing. And then we had to move a whole dump truck load of gravel with a bunch of wheelbarrows in order to get it to where we needed it because there was the flooding. Because of the flooding, we couldn't get the truck where we wanted it. But we worked on all that, did a bunch of concrete, made a bunch of concrete, poured it all, got it all nice and leveled. It looks beautiful now. I'm really thankful that God has brought my class and me here to do this little project and that we were able to complete it. And the way that we've been working on this clinic to construct this floor here, God has been working in my life and he's been working in the life of my classmates here in Peru to be able to draw closer to him through the building project. He builds us, he is the potter, we are the clay. And I just want to remind you guys to let yourself be used, and maybe sometimes there might be some problems, maybe there's some miseries, but God has a plan. God's got a plan for everything, and I'm really thankful he brought us here.
Peru Projects is a support ministry for the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Eastern Peru, part of the global network of Outpost Centers International, OCI. Leaders of the Adventist Church from the Inter-American and Southern African Indian Ocean regions visited Nassau in the Bahamas to strengthen ties and understand the church's mission in the Atlantic Caribbean region.
The leaders met with local pastors and members, exploring the history and growth of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the Bahamas. Pastor Ely Henry, president of the Inter-American region, highlighted the importance of seeing the church in action, while Pastor Harrington Akambwa, president of the Southern Africa Indian Ocean region, praised the collaboration between regional offices focused on the glory of God. In a gesture of unity, Pastor Peter Kerr, president of the Atlantic Caribbean region, presented Pastor Akambwa with a pin. The visitors learned about sustainability projects at the Bahamas College and participated in an evangelism campaign at the Grants Adventist Church, which serves the Haitian Creole community. They also discussed evangelism strategies at the Inter-American headquarters in Miami. The visit reaffirmed the Seventh-day Adventist Church's commitment to the mission and inspired leaders to maintain enthusiasm in the work of God.
During the pandemic, life in Dover, Delaware, in the United States came to a standstill, prompting deep reflection and unexpected connections. The Seventh-day Adventist local church shifted to online services, reconnecting many with their faith. Amid this digital transition, one local teacher found a renewed spiritual path, illustrating how a global pause fostered personal growth and community resilience.
Dover is a very unique place. It is the capital of the state of Delaware. You have 4 universities, you have the Air Force Base, and so it's kind of a mix of a lot of different, very unique cultures, together in a small city.
My name is Nicole. I am born and raised in Dover, Delaware. I actually attended this church a few times as a child, and as I went through middle school and high school, kind of got away from church. Went through college and became a teacher here in the community. During the pandemic, I just kind of felt like something was missing, and I think it was just the world kind of pressed pause for me, and having just the time to reflect and to sit still, and I really do believe it was the Holy Spirit working through me. And I didn't want to resist that pull anymore.
When the pandemic first hit and everything's shutting down, you're kind of afraid of the worst case scenario. It's, is the church going to survive this? Is our school going to survive this? Was one of the first concerns I had. My first priorities when the pandemic hit were just trying to make sure that we were still staying a church family. So we couldn't be here in person, so all right, we need to make sure that I'm here with our AV team and I'm still preaching at least every Sabbath.
I started to live stream some different churches, and of course Dover First was on my mind because this was the church I had attended as a child. And it was through Facebook that I found some live sermons from Pastor Knotts and felt a connection as I watched from home.
You know, streaming went from being the secondary thing to being what church was for a while. And so we went from a 1-camera setup to 3 cameras. We invested in some new lighting because we wanted that experience to be as close to being in person as possible. We wanted it to feel familiar to our members, but kind of as a benefit that we weren't even thinking of, it made it more engaging for people who were searching online too.
So I reached out to Pastor Knotts through the church email. Dear Pastor Evan and others at Dover First, I want to take a minute to introduce myself and to thank you for your live streaming of church services. I've been watching and listening from home.
I got this email at a very interesting time. It was the middle of the pandemic, obviously. We had just started opening up for in-person services maybe a few weeks before. But actually a hurricane came through and a tornado hit our school and it caused some significant damage there and at our church. And you know, it was very stressful. It's like, man, you know, the pandemic felt bad enough and now there's this tornado. Everything seems to be going wrong. And then all of a sudden, whoop, there's this email on my phone and it's Nicole. And this person who says that she's been watching online for some time and now she's ready to give her heart to Jesus and she's ready to join our church. And man, as a pastor, there's nothing better than that, especially when it's something that you just weren't even thinking about or expecting.
I believe Pastor Knotts reached out to me and I told him I wanted to learn more, and he and I scheduled weekly Zoom sessions to do a Bible study online. And it was during those Zooms where I did share with him that it was on my heart to become baptized and that I had never been baptized before. When he announced that he would be moving to Maryland and starting a new job and a new chapter in his life, I thought, now is the time. I want you to be the one to baptize me. And he agreed, and we went over the baptism vows together, and he baptized me in March of 2021.
I think it's important for pastors and for churches to really just step out in faith and trust God. A lot of the times when we think about church growth and evangelism, in a way we make ourselves self-reliant by trying to come up with clever strategies, marketing, campaigns, whatever the thing is going to be that's going to result in evangelism. And really for us, it was at a time when we were mainly just focused on just preaching God's word, right? And just trying to present that effectively to our members, but broadcasting it online, that we saw multiple people come to Jesus during that time. And so sometimes it's when we stop focusing on what we need to do to draw people to the church, and we kind of let go and just trust God. God blesses in ways that we never expected.
This has been this week's Adventist news from the Seventh-day Adventist Church worldwide. You can access other good news by joining the official channels of the Seventh-day Adventist Church on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and also on the ANN website, adventist.news. Share your faith journey and submit your prayer requests on our channels. Our team is committed to praying for you 24/7. Before I say goodbye, I leave you with the inspiring words from the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 12. Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer. God willing, we will meet in the next episode. Take care, and God bless.